Guys, breaking news coming in. IRCC has just announced the prospective categories, the priority categories of express entry that they are looking at when it comes to the year 2026. I know a lot of people are looking at getting their Canadian permanent residence in 2025 and 2026, but we all know that express entry is currently being affected by two important aspects. First one is obviously the drop in numbers, the year on year targets that have dropped. Second one, most importantly, is the categories. Categories are by far clawing away, almost 50% of the quota from the express entry invitations, which includes categories like French, education, healthcare, and all. So, in this particular video today, we will be looking at the latest consultations that have been announced by IRCC. As you can see on the screen, this is just very fresh, where they are talking about the priorities, the consultations that they're holding to identify the categories slash the priorities of the government for the year 2026, which will directly impact if you're coming to study in Canada, or if you're trying to apply for a PGWP, or basically trying to apply for your PR, express entry, and all of that. So if you are planning for Canada in the year 2026 and beyond, then you should be watching this video till the end. My name is Sahil. Guys, welcome back. Once again, my name is Sahil and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and I practice here in Ontario. My office is here. If you have to get in touch with me, my number is on the screen and the details are in the description box. More than happy to speak with you. Before we proceed any further, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon because we talk a lot about Canadian immigration. And if you are an aspirant of moving to Canada, then this is a channel that you must be subscribed to all the time. So, guys, we are discussing the important categories of express entry. We all know that IRCC is currently inviting people from inside Canada and outside Canada based off of categories. And people, especially who are outside Canada, for you guys, categories are extremely important because right now, the number of general category invitations or FSW invitations have literally gone next to zero. So that means if anybody is sitting outside Canada, for you guys especially, the categories are extremely important because that might just be your best bet to get into Canada. For people who are already inside Canada, you have PNPs and the in Canada focus. There is a dedicated quota separately for that. But yes, you're also eligible under the categories. So if you, let me just bring the targets on the screen, the departmental plan. Do I have the departmental plan handy? Yes. So if you look at the departmental plan for 2025, 2026, if you see in Canada focus here, 75,000 for 2026. So this is 2026 and about 70,000 for 2027. Federal economic priorities, it is going from 41,700 to 47,400. So it's increasing next year and then 47,800 more. Okay. So next year will be very important. Federal economic priorities right now are healthcare, trade, French, and all of that. Okay, so these are the healthcare. So we have trade, occupation, French, and healthcare. These are the ones. So yes, like I said, the important part to understand is that categories play a very important role. Almost half of the invitations go towards categories. Now every year, IRCC around the month of August to September holds consultations, public consultations with stakeholders, where people get to voice out their concerns, talk about their labor market priorities, the shortages, and the stakeholders give their own feedback. And then IRCC prepares its own plan, which is then tabled in the month of November as the immigration levels plan. Before November, there will also be a consultation or a meeting held with the immigration ministers of each province. So those representatives will also have a provincial program related conference, which is there every year. But what's important to know is that IRCC so far has developed. So in this particular announcement, they are talking about the 2025 consultations that will start happening between August 6th and September 3rd. So if you have a feedback, sure, go ahead and just declare it, and probably you can fill it. But they clearly say that they're giving a background on this. They're saying that category based selections more give more flexibility for economic immigrants, so Canada to select those through express entry. And also they're talking about eligibility criteria for PGWP, which means the programs that you study in, where you will be eligible for a PGWP going forward. Those programs are also included. Very recently, IRCC did a backtrack of their selection, because earlier PGWP was not in focus. They brought it in focus this year, but they still backtracked. But I think next year onwards, these priorities will directly impact PGWP. So please be aware that if you're trying to come to Canada to study, you should also be aware of these PGWP in focuses. Although IRCC will make further announcements or how they're going to align this, but this will impact study permits as well. Now, furthermore, background, we want to hear from you. All of that is there. Background on Express Entry, how Express Entry works, and all of that is there. Then this talks about how many people were invited. They're saying that between healthcare, 2024, 11,967, 56% priority, number of ITAs. So we did a rough calculation on that as well, where we said that number of people invited in healthcare were also there and all of that. So so if you look at healthcare, yeah, about 10,250 were the invitations. But yeah, the people who, the number of people invited in multiple programs through multiple other priorities, about 11,900. And then you have the trades 2024, and then you have um, STEM and transport and all of that. But what's more important is that beyond this particular year, 2025, we have these five categories. We have had healthcare, we have had trade, we have had education, agriculture, and STEM. Okay. What's important to note is that health and social service is a new merger that happened this year. Trade, we haven't seen any draw so far. Education, we have seen only 1,000 people being invited in this year so far, and this is a newly introduced stream. In fact, healthcare is also new. STEM, no invitation so far, and agriculture, no invitation so far. And also for this particular year, the STEM draw is not in demand by the provinces as well. The provinces have clearly said that they don't need people in tech, they need people in healthcare, social services, and all of those. Okay, so with that background, for the year of 2026, which is the upcoming year of 2026, what is IRCC looking at? Now, these three drop downs are very important for you to look at. First, is obviously IRCC looking at the targets of Francophone, where they subtly say that in 2025 2027, the immigration levels plan set an admission for French outside Quebec at 8.5% in 2025, targets of 9.5% in 2026 and 10% in 2027, and they eventually want to reach 12% by 2029. Now we are considering maintaining a focus on this based on 2025 targets. So right now, French is continuing to rise. So the bottom line for 2026, at least for French, is that they expect to invite more people in French, 8.5% in 2025, going up to 10% in 2027, and 12% of the FHS or the economic in 2029. So right now, French is on an upward scale. That's the first understanding from this particular document. And please remember, this is only consultations. This is not set in stone yet. These are only telling us what is the perspective of the liberal leadership, what are they expecting, and how is it going. And it can change anytime. So don't take it like a writing in stone. Okay. Now, second, they're talking about labor shortages. If you look at labor shortages, they're talking about trade, they're talking about construction. Let me just zoom in a bit. If you look at this, addressing particular labor needs, we're talking about temporary programs, federal pilots, regional immigration pilots, and all of that. And these particular invitations are sent out from time to time, and they are not committing to anything, but they are definitely inviting people to talk about it. Okay, and say categories are established to respond to specific identified economic priorities, which can change over time. Okay, so that's the second sort of open. You can say that this is an open invitation so far. Okay, but what's most important is facilitating leadership. This is the third and appears to be a 2026 brand new category. They are saying that we are considering prioritizing selection of senior managers. Okay, and also we are also considering prioritizing selection of certain researchers and scientists to attract global talent and support innovation. Now these are the two important most things you have to understand. New category expecting to be added in 2026 is senior managers, and a replacement potentially of STEM would be certain researchers and scientists. So more NOC codes could drop from STEM. STEM could ideally become innovation and leadership. We could have senior managers, basically 000 NOC codes, 00012, 13, 14, 15, those NOC codes. Essentially, those people who are paid more than 00013 would be 45 to $50 an hour, going upway to $150 per hour, which means IRCC wants to roll in more money, more taxation dollars, more people coming in. Who knows? They might as well start, a pilot of reintroducing LMI points for LMI exempt categories for 000 NOC codes, right? Even that could be a blatant possibility. But yes, they want to attract global talent, leadership. They want to get people to come to Canada, innovate, and attract more talent. And that's how they want to proceed further. So, innovation, leadership, talent, researchers, scientists, senior managers, that's the tone that they are setting for 2026 so far. These are consultations. Who knows? IRCC has already probably made up their mind up to 80%. They just want to hold public consultations. Then they will introduce these further amendments or these introductions. They will let the parliament know. They're not supposed to dwell more on that. They will let the parliament know what are the priorities for 2026, and then the immigration levels plan will come, and then they will roll it out. Right now this is not set in stone. The consultations are going on, but yes, the tone is French to continue climbing. The trade, construction, healthcare, and all will roll over time to time. There is no set priorities in that. And third is French, oh no, sorry, tech, not tech, basically leadership, innovation, senior managers, scientists, and researchers. This could be one or more categories going forward. I can already hear people saying that now is the time to move towards 000 NOC codes. Well, that is something that you can think upon, but for now, this is something that is happening. Whether IRCC will introduce more changes, for example, expanding the or making the criteria of um, getting eligible under a particular category, they could increase it from only 6 months to 1 year. Who knows? People are already suggesting them. People would already be pouring in their suggestions there. And to maintain the authenticity and the genuineness of the program, even that could be one of the possibilities, right? But yes, the objective of today's video was to let you know that what exactly is IRCC planning. So in 2026, if you are trying to get your PR, senior managers, leadership, innovation, research, development, and scientists, these could probably be leading the way, just like UAE is. UAE, United Arab Emirates, Saudi, they're also inviting scientists. Why not Canada? I think that should just make the way. Guys, thanks for tuning in today. My number is on the screen. If you have anything to discuss with us, please feel free to schedule an appointment and we would be more than happy to speak with you. Also, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do consider subscribing. We talk a lot about Canadian immigration. Also, follow us on our social media handles. We do spread information like wildfire. Guys, it was nice talking to you. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, all the best.